Hey guys, it's Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we are building a mansion and this is a really big build, so I'm excited to share it with you guys. I haven't done a big build in a very long time, but we are building on the 64 by 64 lot in Windenburg. So this house is massive and I hope you guys enjoy this build. I have done a mansion build before, but they were right when I first started building and they just are not very good at all, to be honest. So I do hope that this one maybe looks a little bit better than those did. I feel like it does. I feel like my building has come a long way, so I hope you guys enjoy this as well. But yeah, like I said, we are building on the 64 by 64 lot in Windenburg, so this is a very, very big house. I feel pretty good about the exterior. Like, I was really happy with the way the exterior turned out. I did get a little bit lazy on the interior though. It was so much to furnish. So I'm not really in love with the interior, but most of this video is actually going to be of the exterior because it took so long to build that I tried to skip over as much as I could of the interior. So that footage is going to go by really fast, but I'll talk about it a little bit when we get a little closer. Right now we're just working on the shell of the build, and so basically the shell of the build, it was inspired by a picture that I saw on Pinterest. But it wasn't a picture, it was a video, so I don't know how to put that to where you guys can see it. But I will pin it to my Pinterest account if you guys want to go see it. The link to my Pinterest account will be down below in the description box, and I will try my best to remember to pin it somewhere on the Pinterest account so you guys can see it. But basically, I wanted it to be pretty symmetrical because, like I said, it's been a really long time since I built anything like this, so I didn't want to go really too crazy with the shape. So basically everything is completely symmetrical. A lot of the building I was able to just copy and paste like you guys just saw. And so basically there's these two side parts of the house, and the back side is pretty much the same as the front, except it's a little bit shorter. But yeah, it's basically two sides of the house and then the middle part, and basically it all is symmetrical and matches as much as I could make it. I think I had a few places when I got to the interior that I could not understand why it was not lining up, but I think for the most part it's symmetrical, which made it a little bit easier as far as building the exterior. So as you guys can see, I've got kind of this elegant look going. I used a lot of the objects that came with the get together pack because with the get together pack you had the club side of that, the dance club and everything, and the neon. And then you also had this side of it that was very elegant and kind of countryside. I don't know, that's how I would describe it. But anyway, I used basically the countryside, the more elegant side of Get Together. So as you guys can see, kind of for the, I'm going to call it fencing. It's not actually fencing, but that's probably what it looks like. For that little part, a lot of that in this build is actually built from the statue category. I cannot remember what that object was called, and I meant to look before I did this voiceover and I completely forgot to do that. So I don't remember what it's called, but it is in the statue section and it looks like fencing to me. It's I don't know how to describe it. Maybe if you guys know the name of it, you can leave me a comment down below. I can't remember, but I did use a lot of that because I thought it looked really elegant and upscale, and I thought it fit in with the luxury mansion vibe, so I thought that looked really cool. But for some of the fencing, I actually use actual fencing because this build is so big that I was starting to get worried that it was going to make the game really laggy. At the end of building, I actually was already having a little bit of issues with the game lagging, and I hadn't even started with the interior. So I decided to pull back a little bit on the exterior. But basically, when I really wanted to accent a part of the build, that's the kind of fencing I used. But I do have regular fencing coming a little bit later. But right now I'm finishing off the shell, so I wanted to have these two little tinier rooms. So the way that I did that was I made a half wall room, and then I actually had to kind of manipulate the roof to where it would go on top of that area because it was a half wall and it wasn't actually a room. So the way I did that was I placed a first floor room and then a second floor room, and since this was on the third floor, I actually went on and placed the third floor room as well so that it would transfer. And then you basically have to lift that third floor room, or the bottom of it, you have to lift it up to where it's even with where you want the roof to be, and then you kind of have to drag it over to where you want it to be. And that is actually a really frustrating process, so you guys are going to see me leave the little roof area floating because usually when you do this particular trick, if you change anything as far as the walls or the foundation, it messes it up and it will delete the roof, and so I didn't want to deal with that. So I actually just kept the roofs dragged off of this build until the very end, and then I went on and put them in their place. But hopefully you guys understood what I was talking about. I learned how to do that from Kate Emerald's channel, but if you do have questions about it, I'll try my best to answer. Just leave me a comment down below. But yeah, it's a really frustrating thing, and like anything you change, if you change something in the interior or if you add a wall or whatever, it will delete the roof, and it's so frustrating. And it probably would have been a lot easier just to use a roof decoration for that area, but I didn't have anything that really fit this build, so I just decided to do that. But we are on to the backyard of this mansion now, and I decided to kind of have this wraparound pool. As you guys can see, it's not completed yet because we haven't made it to the front, but I did kind of wrap it around all the way to the back, and then I included this other little pool, and then I'm going to make a little bridge to go over this little area so that it connects the two sides, if that makes sense. So to build my bridge, I basically did the same trick that I was talking about a little bit earlier, only I kept the second floor, and then I was able to lower the second floor down once I deleted the first floor out from under it, and I was able to lower it down just far enough that I could add some stairs and make a little bridge. And I was originally going to put the island living glass floor tile on the bridge because I thought it would look really cool if it was a clear like glass bottom bridge, but the tile count was off just one, and so it had like a really weird glitch effect when I overlapped it. So I just deleted it. You guys may have seen it. I don't know if I even left that footage in, but I thought that was going to look really cool. But I do end up going back with that same item I was talking about earlier and kind of accenting the bridge with that item around it. But yeah, as you guys can see, I did the backyard for this build first, so I did that before the front yard, and I actually kind of like the backyard better. I don't know about you guys. You guys can let me know which one you like better, but I actually feel like the backyard just looks so casual and cool, and it's got this massive pool, which is just really awesome. And then I tried to add a lot of seating areas. I added an outdoor dining table, and I also added a bar out there. So I thought that was really cool. I feel like the backyard really does kind of seem very luxurious and cool. So I hope you guys like it as well. But that's pretty much it for the backyard. As you guys can tell, I'm really speeding through the footage. I tried to cut out anything that seemed really repetitive because I knew how big of a build this was going to be. I don't even know how long it took me, but I think if I hadn't edited the footage, it would have been easily like a 30-minute video, if not maybe longer. But yeah, I know that a lot of it's really repetitive, so like I said, if you guys have any questions about anything I'm doing, you can let me know and I'll try to answer it. But for the most part, it's just like basic stuff. Right now I'm adding the front staircase, and I decided to do this because I wanted it to be a really grand staircase, so I decided to use the platform tool to kind of make it a little bit longer and make it stretch a little bit further and make it look a little bit more fancy, I guess. And now we're on to the fountain, which is the feature of this build as far as the front yard goes. So this was in the inspiration that I was looking at, this massive house, which was an actual house, and it was so beautiful. But it had this beautiful fountain in the very front of the house. So I wanted to recreate that. I was kind of running out of room, but I decided to go for it anyway. So basically I made this just really weird kind of shape, and then I decided to grab these water jets from the like water decoration, and I actually had to test them out to see which ones did what because I can never remember that. But I added those in a circle, and then of course kind of like around the sides as well. But I added those to the fountain, and you should be able to see it a little bit when we go back over there because I did test it in live mode just to make sure that it looked okay. But basically it's just got this like circular little area that's like shooting water up, and I thought it was cool. I don't do a lot of fountains in my builds, so I thought that was cool. And then I decorated it with that same little statue object too, just because I thought it looked fancy. So there's not really a lot of point to the fountain. I just thought it looked nice and kind of added to the luxurious feel of this build. But this little area over here was kind of going to be like the gate of the build, I guess. I actually meant to go back and place a car from the debug menu in this area because that's kind of what I wanted it to look like where you would drive into this build. But then I completely forgot to do it, so That's what this was supposed to be, kind of like a gate, maybe. It doesn't actually have a gate, but that's kind of what I was going for. And as you can see, I just placed these like statues, and those are really expensive. I can't remember how much they are, but they're base game statues and they're so expensive. And I just knew that this mansion was going to cost $1 million. I was just 100% sure the whole time that I was building this that I was going to build $1 million mansion, and I was so proud. And guys, I'm not even kidding. This house came in at like 960,000 simoleons, so it was just short of $1 million simoleons, and I have no idea how you would actually spend $1 million or $1 million simoleons. I don't even know what I said at first, but I don't even know how you would do that, because this mansion, like, I put everything I could think of, like just the most bougie, luxurious items I put in this house, and it still did not equal $1 million simoleons. So that's crazy. I thought it would be a lot easier, especially with the really big ticket stuff. Like, I used the fanciest beds that I could pick out and stuff like that. Not for every room, but for most of the rooms I used like the biggest, fanciest bed. And it still didn't cost $1 million simoleons. It was just underneath it. I ended up thinking later when I moved on to my other build, I actually was thinking about it, and I thought if I had added the marble flooring and like some really, really expensive wallpaper to the pool, I might actually could have come away with it. But yeah, I forgot about it. I didn't think about that. So the pool doesn't, I don't even think the pool has any kind of wallpaper or anything. I think it's just whatever comes when you place the pool. So there's nothing fancy about that, and that may have gotten me up to $1 million simoleons, but I didn't think about it. But I don't even know how people do that challenge. Have you guys ever built a house or a mansion in The Sims that cost $1 million simoleons? And if so, how did you do it? What did you put in the house? Because that's just a crazy amount. I feel like when I'm actually playing the game, it's so easy to spend money. Like, especially if you're doing it without cheats and you start buying stuff and it's just like the money just keeps going and keeps going. And so yeah, I thought for sure with this house that we would meet the 1 million simoleon challenge or goal, and I did not, so I'll have to try again on that another day. But we are into the interior now, and like I said, this footage goes by really fast. The first part of the house, so basically the first story, I tried to record a little bit like you guys can see now, but I would just kind of skip footage if I was trying, like if I couldn't make up my mind what I wanted to put there. I would like pause the recording and then skip forward. So you guys will see it jolt forward a few times, and I hope you guys don't mind that. Like I said, it was just going to be a really massive video if I didn't do that. And I'd never have the time to watch 30-minute videos for the most part, and so I didn't want to do that. I am going to change some of these colors here in a little bit too, because as you can tell, it's kind of really dark, and I change it more to a kind of light brown golden theme. But like I said earlier, the interior of this house does not do the exterior justice in my opinion. I tried to make it really fancy, and like I said, I was choosing like really expensive items, but I still feel like I was just so tired of building at this point. I feel like the interior is just not where the exterior is, if that makes sense. And also, if you guys have seen many of my videos, you probably know that I don't love doing the interior design either, because it's just hard for me. It's harder than building like exteriors for some reason. But this house ended up having 3 floors, but the third floor has like a weird roof clipping kind of glitch, and so it would have been really difficult to play with. And also, I felt like I had plenty of room in this mansion with just 2 floors, so I didn't decorate the third floor at all. But I did go on and put a staircase that's leading up to the 3rd floor, just in case if I ever wanted to go back and add more furniture, I could, without having to like rearrange a bunch of stuff. Or if you guys wanted to download this build and you wanted to use the 3rd floor, there is a staircase already put in there, because I know how much of a pain it is to go back later and add ladders or stairs or something like that. So yeah, I decorated the 1st floor and the 2nd floor. There's a total of 7 bedrooms, I think. I tried to do a few kids' bedrooms, and I even threw in like a nursery/toddler's room, and I think there's a total of 6 bathrooms. So yeah, this is a huge house, and the bedrooms are really, really massive as well. Like, they're not small bedrooms, they're very, very big. I tried to include a few closets as well with like the bedrooms or the bathrooms, but I think towards the end I kind of stopped doing that. But yeah, this is like one of the bedrooms well, this is one of the bathrooms, but we just did the bedroom that is attached to it. And also there's a huge kitchen, there's a dining room, of course. I included a gym and then like a kind of spa day gym, which doesn't really look good because it's the last room that I did. But I did include like an office, a study, like a painting room. I tried to just get creative and kind of throw everything at this build. But yeah, like I said earlier, you can kind of tell that I was tired by the time that I got to the interior. And also I didn't want to go overboard on the interior and make the game really laggy, because to be honest, with my game, it was already lagging a little bit at this point. But that's pretty much it for this build. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this build. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys. And that's it for today's video, but I hope you guys are all doing really well, and we will talk in the next video. Bye!